Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest is a son of blues legend John Lee Hooker and a Grammy-nominated musician in his own right. His road to success took a 3-decade detour due to drug addiction and related crimes. He details his rebirth in his new memoir, From the Shadow of the Blues, My Story of Music, Addiction, and Redemption. We welcome John Lee Hooker, Jr. John Lee, great to see you. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing very well, Helen. Thank you for having me.
You
Thank
bet.
you so much.
Tell me about the title of your memoir, Shadow of the Blues. What does it mean?
You know, I just noticed a Facebook post today, and where a gentleman by a friend of mine by the name of Jeffrey Good said in his post, he says, after reading this book or part of this book, I now thank God that I was delivered from that type of life.
Oh,
And I just gave him a round of applause and said, thank God we are both from under that shadow
right.
of life destruction. So that's what that means. And I took a scripture, and it says in Psalms 91:1 that he that abides in a secret place abideth under the shadow of the Almighty. So I'm no longer under that shadow of immoral living, drug addiction, prisons and violence and homelessness. So that's what that means.
You know, many knew your dad, as in knew of him, knew of his talent, knew that he was a star in the blues. He was just a star. But to you, he was much more. He was a father. What was he like off stage?
Well, just a down-to-earth person. He was a comedian to me. I was his favorite comedian. He was my favorite comedian. Anti-narcissistic, no
Oh, wow.
ego, just a plain old guy that loved people no matter who you were, what your status in society was. That's who he was, a friend. He was my best friend.
And you inherited his love of and the talent for music, and you performed with him on stage. Was that something that you loved doing as a teenager, performing with your
Oh
dad on
yeah.
stage?
Exactly. Watching him as he babysitted me in a couple of bars at the age of 7 and 8 years old. Don't come out this door. Don't come past this closet. Don't open up that curtain. And I would watch him, and of course, I was curious, and I would peek through and watch how he would make people smile and make them laugh and make them dance, of course. And you know. Uh, Children, once they watch the success of their mother and their father, they have it inside of their hearts that they want to be just like their mama or their dad.
So you went on stage, but did you love being on stage? Did you love performing like your dad?
Oh, yes, yes, that's a shot right there. 22 years old. Of course, I love it, and I love it today, but I don't do the bars and the nightclubs. And this is when I was 20 or 21
Right.
inside of a prison. But yes, I love making people smile. I love making people happy.
Let's talk about that. Inside of a prison, you performed in 1972 at Soledad Prison with your dad. What was
Yeah.
that experience like? And then to know then, I think 10 years later, you were a prisoner in that same prison.
Yeah, it was surreal. And what's ironic about it is I had just been released from Jackson Prison in Michigan and then went to Cassidy Lake. So when I got off parole after 1 year in Michigan, my dad said, hey, come on, let's get you out of Detroit. We don't want you to get shot. We got a wonderful gig in the infamous Soledad Prison where Sirhan assassinated Robert F. Kennedy and the Soledad brothers. And when we went in, we was in our van. Of course, they checked up under. We had to go through administration to go through the metal detectors, make sure that we didn't have any weapons on us and whatnot. A quick rule, don't do this and don't
Yeah.
do that. And I looked up as I was going through, and I was kind of familiar with the gun towers, but there
Yeah.
was a gentleman up there with a shotgun and sunglasses on, highway patrol sunglasses, and the crowd was there. Everybody was yelling, "Let's go! Come on, John B. Hooker! Come on, Junior! Come on!" And there was standing room only. I did too. I did 2 songs and introduced my dad, and of course, he tore the place up.
Yeah, I bet he did.
14 years later, I came back through that same Sally Port, that same R&R, return and release reception, and I saw that. Well, I don't think it was him, but I saw the same guard up there with sunglasses on and a shotgun.
Yeah,
And but this time I didn't have on my little free man's outfit. I had
right?
on a orange jumpsuit, and I was chained from my waist, my hands was chained, and my legs were chained, and it was surreal.
Yeah.
I reported to my job assignment, and the gentleman that you see at the side of the stage, he was now my supervisor. He says, "I remember you." I said, "I'm sorry, sir. I've never been to prison here. Sorry, you." "Yeah, no, no, sir." And he pulled out an 8 by 11 black and white photo and say, "Yes, you are. Here you is." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh
there
my
is
God."
so much, John Lee, there is so much to get to about your getting
Yeah.
sober, your redemption, your opening for the Rolling Stones, about praying with Keith Richards. There is so much to get to. So we want to tell everyone they have to read the book, From the Shadow of the Blues, My Story of Music Addiction and Redemption. John Lee Hooker Jr., thank you so much, sir.
And thank you, for Helen, for having me. God bless.
God bless. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.